I think a lot of mission-driven messengers that haven't stepped up to the plate yet aren't doing so out of fear of wanting to serve, but fear of not knowing what to say.
Sure.
So kind of let's walk through that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Well, our full curriculum, we have like 12 different 2-day experiences, right? Our flagship 2-day experience is the first one. It's called Finding Your Brand DNA, which you've been through. A lot of the content in this book is from that. So this is kind of like the self-guided version for $20.
Yeah.
But we work with people, one-on-one. And if you came through that experience, there's 4 things we got to get people clear on. And it's kind of like 4 things. So the first is you got to be clear on what problem you solve in one word. And that's like the genesis. And most people can't even answer that question. What problem can I solve for the world in one word?
Yeah.
The next thing is, who do I solve that problem for in one phrase? Then, how do I solve that problem in one sentence, which is what we call your message?
Yep.
And then, what one single revenue stream matters above all others. And if you get clear on those 4 things, we call that your uniqueness. And it's really important to narrow it because of a concept that we call Sheehan's wall.
Yeah.
And if you think of the metaphor of the wall, right? Like, okay, if I'm hitting a wall, if I'm swinging a sledgehammer and I'm hitting all these different spots on the wall, nothing happens to that wall. But if I pick a spot on the wall and I hit the same spot over and over and over, again and again and again, eventually that paint is going to chip, and then it's going to crack, and then there's going to be a divot, and then I'm gonna punch through. There's going to be a little tiny hole, and then I'm going to punch through, and when I punch through and pull back, the entire wall comes crashing down. And that's how you become wealthy and well known. Yeah, because nobody who got rich from multiple streams of income. It's the stupidest piece of advice on the internet.
That's very true.
You're a great example. Yeah. Everybody who got rich from one amazing stream of income. They had one thing they did really well, right? Like, Messi is a soccer player. Wolfgang Puck is a chef. The Rock in the beginning was just a wrestler. Like in the beginning, like Sarah Blakely had Spanx. Richard Branson had like Virgin Records. You had, Elon Musk does a lot today. In the beginning, PayPal. Yeah. Like there was one thing. Jeff Bezos, Amazon. Like there's not an example. Like there's like 0 examples of people who got rich from multiple streams of income. And there's like 0 examples of people who got famous for multiple things. The way you get wealthy and well-known is you have one amazing stream of income and you become well-known on one single topic, right? If you go, Brene Brown became one of the most influential people in the world. All she did for decades was study a 1-word problem, shame. And you can't talk about shame without someone bringing up Brene Brown's name. Yeah. She owns the topic. Dave Ramsey owns the topic of debt. He has built a multi-9-figure business in annual revenue, 1,000 employees, 1 billion podcast downloads, like 17 million people listening to him on the radio, and yet he's been saying the same thing every day for 3 hours, the same 7 baby steps for 30 years, that's true. Over and over and over, right? You break through the wall by being the world's leading authority on one thing. Yeah. And so the discipline is in finding your uniqueness, as Larry Winget told me early in my career. The goal is to find your uniqueness and exploit it in the service of others. Yeah. So what we did was we created a process that curates a multi-passionate person through a series of exercises and introspective questions and reflection to where the answer emerges, right? Yeah. Like I can't just like look at someone and go, oh, your uniqueness is blank, but you go through this process and the process, it's revealed.
I would think that the reason people don't go the growing route, right, of seeking to understand has more to do with the fact that that's going to be that's just a lot of work, man. I got to stop my day. I got to not make my spouse feel understood in this moment. Like all these different things, there's all these different reasons or what I call repelling factors. So walk us down that a little bit.
Yeah. A lot of times it's not malice, a lot of times what keeps us from moving towards people with understanding is often a practical, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to take the time. This is a distraction from what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And so, but I just think if you do take that time, you're going to multiply your time. The time you spent, the mental energy, the emotional energy that a difficult person takes from you, it's just like, but if you were to take the time to change that relationship, you're going to be in a much better position. And all of a sudden, because here's the interesting thing about time. You can spend 5 minutes with a complicated person and they can ruin your whole day. And you could spend 30 minutes with somebody that you enjoy being around, and it's just like, man, I could spend all day with this person. And so it's like, it's worth the time to be able to say, man, let me pause my day for the sake of future days that I want to have a healthy relationship with this person. And so it's, if you don't take that time, you're actually taking time.
Yeah.
And you don't even realize it, because it becomes a drain on the relationship. Sometimes it could be a drain on the room or an entire team. And so I think being able to address those things early, to be able to say, hey, time out.
Yeah.
Hey, I want us to have a thriving relationship. Hey, I want this to work out. I want to talk about the thing underneath the thing. I don't want to have to dance around you.
Yeah.
I could spend the next year dancing, or we could spend the next 30 minutes talking.
Yeah.
Which one you choose?
Yeah.
And so you'd be surprised, and I can just tell you this. I am amazed, absolutely amazed by the amount of leaders that tell me, man, I got this person on my team, and then they'll say whatever. But then they'll say this phrase after. I say, yeah, but I can never tell them that. I go, well, why not? I just can't.
Is it fear? Is it uncomfortability? I mean, what at the heart of it, what do you think is driving it? Because
a few things. I mean, there's some harsh realities. Maybe you're not good at your job, but you're a really good person. It's hard to fire really good people who are incompetent.
Yeah.
I was working with an NFL team yesterday, and we were having a grand discussion, me, the GM, and a couple of coaches, about how to evaluate players and how to develop players at a high level. I asked the question. I said, when we talk about development, are we talking about physical abilities? Are we talking about athleticism? Or are we talking about character?
How can we turn Pray Drive on, flip the switch, if you will, before we have to go through fear-based moments or competition? How do we keep it activated? Like, turn it on and keep it activated?
If you look at the other activators, so fear, you watch The Last Dance with Jordan, and Jordan manufactured a lot of things so he could keep his Pray Drive activated.
Yeah.
Okay, so the top entrepreneurs, I would suspect, like a Milet, can manufacture it. Like, boom, it's on. An artist that's singing to 55,000 people, they don't feel good that night, can turn it on. The football player on a Sunday who's getting paid millions of dollars can turn it on. Not everybody.
Yeah.
So I look at exposure activates my Pray Drive. I do enjoy traveling around the world. I do enjoy having conversations with people like you. It makes me think. I was just interviewing Craig Ballantyne right before this about his book, and it's like, that's good. That's good. That activated my drive. That sparked something in me. So exposure activates the drive, right? That's why we want people to come to the Greatness Factory.
Yeah.
See it.
It's a phenomenal place, brother.
Like just get
Yeah, I mean, for all of us, just for the audience's sake, if you're an aspiration, I mean, a leader. And you need to get content like situated, produced. I mean, you guys have a little a venue in there, it's like for an actual conferences and everything, dude. Check this out. Greatness Factory.
It's but this was a dream God gave me in 2016. Said you built Greatness Factories for kids, right? Build a Greatness Factory for adults. Took me 8 years.
Yeah.
I always tell people 8 years, 4 tries, and $8 million. I failed like 2 or 3 times at this. Bought land.
I'm glad I'm not the only.
No. Bought land. spent $100,000 on plans, then took it to the city I was in, which is about 30 minutes from here. They said it's too modern. Can you scale it down? Got frustrated, got discouraged, then went to another building, built it all out, bought the furniture, did one event. They kicked me out of the building. The landlord asked me to leave, said the other tenants don't want you here. It's too much energy. That's what they told me. Had too much energy. And now I got $250,000 worth of furniture.
Mm-hmm.
I got no greatness factory.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried this multiple times,
Mm-hmm.
but I locked into it, right?
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to do it, man.
Yeah.
God gave me a vision. Every time I wanted to quit, no, this is a vision you're supposed to do, man.
Yeah.
I just stuck with it. And so when you're thinking about exposure, like you've been around some of the top people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I've been around some of the top people in the world. There's no way. It's like, how could you be deactivated? It's like I'm watching, right?
Yeah.
Like when I'm watching Milet speak, I'm sitting. I know the stories he's going to tell. I've heard them. I know.
I heard the same talk 2 or 3 times.
And it's like he hits it, and I'm still crying. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
Milet. It's like I'm still crying. I'm sitting here crying during this moment. And it's like, he's that good. And so exposure activates. Environment activates. What's the difference? One, I see something. One, I go somewhere. Okay, like coming to the Greatness Factory is an environment.
Mm-hmm.
Being in the locker room, environment.
Mm-hmm.
Right, going to a big concert, environment.
Mm-hmm.
There's things that trigger you to go, I want to do something bigger. I took my daughter to see Taylor Swift. Most watched video I've ever had.
Okay.
Because I was speaking somewhere and I said, I took my daughter to see Taylor Swift, and this was a couple years ago in Kansas City. I paid $3,500. We were in a suite with one of my clients, and people just hated that I paid $3,500 to see Taylor Swift. And they just, you're such a terrible father, and she's such this, and she's satanic, and whatever.
Yeah. Wow.
I asked my daughter, who was, I think, 11 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a daddy-daughter weekend. I said, what did you take away from tonight?
Mm-hmm.
She said, Dad, I want to do something big in my life. If that's not worth $3,500 to somebody for her to see that, now, I don't know what she'll do with it, but it sparked a dream in her. I want to play bigger, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm watching a woman in front of 75,000 people.
Yeah.
Like it activated her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, it may not activate her to sing, but it may activate her to be great at gymnastics, which is what she does. And so that is exposure, environments, and then the fifth one is embarrassment. And I'm such a competitor. Like if we don't hit our numbers, I'm embarrassed. If we don't play to a high level, I'm embarrassed. If we don't play at a high standard, I'm embarrassed. So embarrassment is not like I'm comparing myself. I may be watching Milet and go, I got to get better, man. Right. I got to get better. I got to get better storytelling. I got to get better at this. It's not like I'm comparing myself to him. I'm just like, I can play
Excellence
at a higher
in
level.
the ordinary.
Yeah. I could play at a higher level. So all of those things activate prey drive.
And so one of the things that I've seen that your work shakes loose is the false label that you put on yourself, right? Because I think a lot of us have stories like that, right? Meaning there's at some point in time, the subconscious that kicks in, it's like talking you out of doing the thing you know you need to do, when you need to do it, how you need to do it, is the very same thing. It's just trying to keep you safe.
Yes.
And it's anchored itself back to 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever, reminding you, hey, remember when this happened? Well, that made you this. And you're always permanently this, right? Talk to me a little about how that's not true.
It's not true because there's a phrase we say in one of our pieces of curriculum that says, the story that you tell the most is the story that you believe the most. And then flip it. The story that you believe the most is the story that you tell the most. Then I lived to add a phrase in there, the story that you believe the most about yourself.
Yeah.
Is the story that you tell yourself, tell the most. So
Yeah.
most people, actually all people, the negative talk or the self-talk never stops, ever. You're sleeping, subconsciously you're running, like your operating system's running. So if you look at most people, if they were to be honest, it's negative. I'm not good enough. I don't belong. I'm unattractive. What will they think of me? It is the most ugly self-talk. Now, most people act like they don't have that, and so they do this fake, false bravado type of thing. And when we help people tell you, like, you only believe that because that is what you have repeated 1,000,000+ times. That's what you've seen. You've looked for evidence. You create evidence and you repeat it so often that that's just your reality. And then I'm like, well, what if you could change that? So the work we do in Game Changers, like, we're going to literally rewire. We're going to recreate a new version of you. And that's one of the greatest things when people say, this thing we call conscious self-creation, they're like, oh my gosh. They go from like, I'm not enough, I'm unattractive, I can never be Scoggins, we just get by, to I am powerful. I am a beacon of light. I am a lover, a leader, a lighthouse. And we start to create. And it's more than affirmation. It's a creation. It's a declaration. It's a statement. It's a literal creation the moment you say it. And man, when people start to create themselves based not on the past, but on a desired future and what's really possible. Oh, it's game over. Game over.
Game changed. Game over.
Game changer, baby.
Well, look, one of the things we were talking about last night. So it was really cool to when you came up to Safe Haven last night, and we had a chance to just catch up because
That was all. I was blown away. I'm like, dude, I had no idea about all this stuff you went through. I was like, oh my gosh, man.
What processes and systems are you seeing that allow people to take the mask off to actually ask for the help they need?
Yeah. Well, I think, again, thank you for sharing that, and thank you for the work that you're doing, because as you're going through it, it made me emotional because I'm seeing that too. And it's like, we host these town halls, and when we bring in experts every single month that talk about different areas, and, we're going through it. And a lot of ours focuses on the power of a promise, which I want to get back to about the promise that you made. But I think, again, it's giving them the safety, creating the safe haven as you have here, to be able to say it's okay to talk about it. And that's really what we have to do, is when you open up these opportunities and people know it's okay to share, and they can really see it, know that they're not broken, and know that there's hope. Like, that's probably the number one thing. And so what we've decided to do, and what we've asked everyone, is we want people to make a promise to reach out for help. What does that look like? It doesn't matter. Just promise that you will. A friend, a family member, a resource, AFSP, NAMI, Jed, Trevor, the VA, or call or text 988, which, if people don't know, that's the 911 for mental health. So our big part is making that initial promise, because none of these treatments, none of this other stuff matters if you're not here.
It's funny when again, when I say funny, I mean interesting, not hilarious. I remember I was downstairs in my office here at the house. And I was sharing, you began sharing with me how the promises are made and kept. And I was like, I did make a promise.
You did.
My promise to Susan, again, if I didn't share it already, was I would call her at 9 a.m. the next morning. She got me from out of crisis.
Yeah. And what did she do? She acknowledged you. Hey, I know you're struggling. I know you're here. It's okay. I'm here for you. She supported you.
Mama Bear also came out too.
I got you. I got you. You're not going to do this. I love you. Stop. And keep in touch. You're going to check in with me tomorrow. What she didn't realize is the power of a promise. And maybe she did. But that's what we've found, is there is significant power. In fact, general studies show if you make a promise right now ahead of time, you're up to 60% more likely to keep it when it counts. Now, that's a generic promise, but does it matter? So if I get you to make me a promise, what are you going to think about? You're going to go, man,
I can't let them down.
I don't want to disappoint. My word means everything. There is power in a promise. What is a marriage? It's a promise.
What are ways that people check in on you that have been effective, that maybe we can model and begin to use to check in on other people?
Ooh, that's good. I think there are, again, I could probably count on one hand too how many people are like actually good at checking in on me and like seeing me. I think we're in a very lonely time. I think right now everyone's very individual, very independent.
How's that possible? Everyone's connected on social media.
Oh, right. That's the problem. But that's the thing, is everyone will see your social media and be like, oh, she's doing great. I don't need to check in on her, like whatever. Or everyone is very, I don't want to say selfish, I'll say self-centered. Like, everyone's main priority right now just is themselves. So it is really hard to get checked in on, I think. And I think part of the reason that makes my testimony so powerful is the fact that I wasn't really checked in on that much, because it really was just like me and God a lot. But my family is great. And my best friend, Sydney, she is probably like the closest thing to heaven I'll get on earth. She's great. And they all know, because I am vulnerable with them, how to check in on me. And it definitely is just kind of like, all right, like, how are you? Like, what are you doing? And then when I try to blow them off, it's like, no, seriously, like, how are you? Or just validating that they know what I'm going through. Like, they'll be like, okay, like, I know you're carrying this well, but like, I see that you've been very anxious lately. And if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But just know that I know.
Yeah, we would call that holding space. You know, what's really interesting is I was just thinking this. So, because one of the things that I try to do in historical, the way my brain works is my brain will take common denominators of different circumstances, situations, and then rearrange them in theory in a way in which you go from like force to flow, or go from like disconnection to connection, and like connect the dots, right? Because it's no different. You can have an extension cord that's however long, but if it's not plugged into the wall, there's no current flowing through it, right? And based on what you just said, I'm curious just your opinion on how much of getting checked in on in a meaningful way is also letting your guard down with people in a meaningful way.
100%. The only people that can check in with me thoroughly are the people that know me thoroughly. And that is kind of, the ball's kind of in my court to kind of make that a thing. Thankfully, I am like pretty good at being vulnerable, which I think I used to look at as kind of like a weakness, but Jesus wept, so why can't I, kind of thing. Like, I'll be a crybaby, it's fine.
I cry too.
I'll be a crybaby.
But if I feel it, I'm going to feel all the feels.
I'm going to start crying. I'm going to start crying. Like, no holding back. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. Everyone knows exactly what I'm thinking when I'm thinking it. But that's been helpful, because now, like, some of the great friends I have in my family can look at me and be like, ooh, like, you good? Like, do you need to talk about something? But then my friends that do put up more of a front, like Vincent, it's way harder for us to even realize they're going through something, because if you were so like masked up, which society tells us to be, especially boys. Oh my goodness. Like, you're not allowed to have emotions if you are a boy.
We got to slay dragons and never cry.
Right. And 80% of all suicides are men. And I think that does come with the fact that men feel like they have to carry themselves more strong and masculine, which
we're definitely more isolated.
Right.
Men historically, until they're taught better, do better, right? So a huge chunk of my life, I didn't tell other men what I was going through until I learned it was okay to do so, which took 25 years, I think, for me to understand that.